Welcome everyone. I welcome you all at fifth digital transformation virtual conclave. We are here for the panel discussion four, which is leveraging digital transformation initiative through technology-based solution with a focus on cloud security and data privacy. Today we have with us Mr. Gaurav Jindal, Business Development, India Government, Defense and Enterprise from Thales. I welcome you, Gaurav.
Hi. Hello, hi.
We have with us Shri Manjeet Singh, Senior Vice President, Infotech. I welcome you, Manjeet ji.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We have CJ Antony, Deputy Director General, Network Security from NIC. I welcome you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. From C-DAC, we have Mr. Kapil Kant Kamal, who is a Joint Director. I welcome you, Kapil.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. I would like to introduce Shri Vishnu Chandra, who is a Deputy Director General, NIC. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, sir. We have Dr. SaibalSarkar, Deputy Director General, NSIO, NIC, West Bengal. I welcome you, sir. Okay. I welcome K. Srinivasa Raghavan, who is the Deputy Director General, SIO, NIC, Tamil Nadu. I welcome you, sir.
Very good afternoon to all.
I welcome Mr. Prashant K Thete, who is SIO, NIC from Goa. I welcome you, Prashant, sir.
Namaskar and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Farhan, I think so. Saibal is trying to say something. He's on mute.
Sir, can you unmute yourself? Okay. We have Ramesh B R, AGM from ITI Limited. I welcome you, Ramesh ji.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And Vipin SS, Manager Head Software Division from KELTRON. I welcome you, Vipin ji.
Good afternoon.
And for moderating this session, I welcome Dr. Rajeshree Kumar, she is Executive Director with Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. I welcome you, Rajeshree. Rajeshree,
thank you so much, Farhan. I have myself.
So, Rajeshree, you can take this from here.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. First of all, I'll thank the entire GovConnect team, Farhan, for giving me this opportunity to interact with such a esteemed set of panelists and distinguished leaders. So, hi, Fahim, I can finally see you. Yes. So, yes. So, as I thank you for giving me this forum, and I welcome all the panelists, and I join GovConnect team in welcoming all of you. It is definitely an opportunity for me, and I'm really privileged to join you today at this very pertinent topic, which is leveraging digital transformation initiatives through technology-based solutions with a focus on cloud security as well as data privacy. About me, I am Rajeshree Kumar, and I represent an organization called Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, and I joined them as Executive Director. We are a non-profit global organization headquartered in USA, and I work remotely here from India. And we are 18 plus strong chapters. We work through our chapters and we work through our members. The membership is currently complimentary, and but there is something really unique about what we do. We are founded on the principles of capital building, capacity building, and community building. And then there are many activities that we follow through these three mantras that we have. A very strong non-political and non-religious policy in place. We are a non-profit global organization, and certainly digital transformation is one of the activities that we try and do in our own niche way. And we have managed to create a space in that, a very niche space for masses in that global space. As many of our members, they do the digital transformation activities, the practices, they are part of such big initiatives across the globe. And but my objective today is to learn something and go back and give back to my organization. And certainly we are not talking about one organization, one entity, one individual here. It's basically as a nation, the challenges, the opportunities that are there. India is the second fastest digital adapter among 17 of the most digital economies globally. And this is a copy paste. This is information that I've been given, and I'm just reading it out. Now the question is, we are all the data sets. Basically, there is a digital transformation. Technology has to be there because we are talking about everything about digital. Technology is definitely there. There are a lot of data, a lot of services, apps. We are everywhere today. When we talk in the past 3 years, things have become very different. Now, as a citizen, as a user, how safe I am, how secured I am, what kind of walls, what kind of infrastructure, digital infrastructure that has been created, not only at the central level or the national level, across the states, across the villages, pins, if I may say, units, if I may say. So these are various questions that we need to have answers for. And we have all the strong leaders here today, a lot of states best practices that we can get to hear from each other. So I'll not take much of the time. I've already taken my part. I have introduced myself. So my first question definitely goes to everyone. And I'll start with Mr. Vishnu Chandra on the question. The question is basically, what modernizations have been introduced in the past 2 to 3 years, especially in the Indian context? And when I say modernization, so it's not about modernization. First of all, we have to understand, we are talking about digital transformation, cyber security, and data privacy. So what all is happening under your leadership? Vishnu, sir, this is one question. And how are we contributing to the societal and economic health of the country? So first question, and this is a common question across. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. In fact, I think we and many of my colleagues in this panel represents NIC.
Yes.
And NIC is a backbone of what you call digital transformation, which is happening in the country. And many things has happened in last 3-4 years. In fact, major transformation, you can call it, a change which has happened. Earlier, 5 years back, we used to talk some independent IT systems. Now with technology, with a shift towards integration and bringing various vertical silos and creating a system which are interdependent and interconnected. So today we use the terminology called single window system in many places. So single window system for the ease of doing business, for delivery of services. So that is a big digital transformation, which is happening now. And I personally look after in NIC, I'm heading a group on geospatial technology and services, GIS. And lot of reforms at policy level, technology level in this domain are happening, at least since last 1 year, when data related to geospatial maps, satellite data, drone data has been liberalized. And it has been open by government agency to private sector also. So Survey of India data, for example, has been opened up to certain threshold accuracy levels. So 1 meter horizontal accuracy, 3 meter vertical accuracy. So all basic maps of Survey of India is now in open domain. So that is going to initiate, which has is what you call multiplier effect in solution building as well as delivery of services. So this is a major change. And also earlier systems like I'm also looking after, say, Environment Forest Ministry, where a last 3-4 years a system called Parivesh was in operation. Parivesh is basically for all green clearances, environmental clearances, forest clearances, wildlife clearance, coastal zone, and so on. There also major reform in terms of registration, giving best services to proponent so that they can know your area, know their area where they are going to apply for clearances. All EIA notifications, their catalog has been rationalized. Lot of business process re-engineering. Decision rules coming out of EIA notifications and getting consolidated, a rule engine for GIS and decision support system. Now, all these things are happening. Now, this system is in turn is going to be integrated in various sectors like infrastructure, road, power, transport, whosoever is coming for any kind of infrastructure project, including PM Gati Shakti, which is being taught now. All have to come to Parivesh for their environmental clearance. So this is this kind, say, earlier system of Ministry of Environment and Forest, system of NHAI, system of other ministries department were not able to talk. So this is, and also in terms of security infrastructure, when we are going for digital transaction, we have to further scale up the what we call digital trust and exchange of data, so that authentic data which are perfectly curated with respect to ground, that is a new challenge which is now emerging. And digital trust in data have implications and impact in emerging technology implementation like blockchain, where say, for example, between buyer and seller, you have to have a smart contract, which will be one factor is how cyber security and other operations is addressed, and other is quality of data, accuracy of the property maps with respect to ground. So that and that authenticated data with respect to ground has to be digitally signed, authenticated, so that digital trust to make best use of emerging technology can be achieved. So yes, this is in brief, and end-to-end system solution in various projects NIC is trying to extend from cloud to cyber security to application, use of common platforms like GIS by various users, and exchange of data. So this is what my initial remark.
Yes, thank you so much. This is a chain that you have actually established, you have created, and I think an extension of this question could be straight away extended to address to Mr. CJ Antony. Sir, you can also talk about from the network security perspective, because Vishnu sir has already covered a good part of it. If you can just add on to what, I mean, if you can just add on to some more from your individual perspective, that will be really interesting for us to know.
Yeah, surely, because what Vishnu ji has said, that is the major aspect behind everything is because he said that whatever silos we have interconnected and all. So here, what most important thing that has to happen is the opening of data through open APIs and a similar thing. And of course, development of new applications, whether it is web applications or mobile applications. So there's a lot of security in every aspect of this transformation, because we have achieved quite a lot of digital transformation in the last 2 years, ever since the pandemic has started, which we could not achieve in the last 2 decades, say from year 2000 to 2020. That 2 decades, Y2K onwards, whatever we couldn't achieve, we could achieve in the last 2 years. Of course, that's a blessing in disguise, whatever we call it. So here, every point earlier, no, security was quite often it was an afterthought. Okay, we will develop something, then we'll think of security later, and we'll wait for some incident to happen, so to wake up and take care of the security aspects. So that has changed. So to put it short, what is called a SDLC, software development cycle, has now become secure software development cycle, SSDLC. So that is everywhere, every people started talking about security, and there's a lot of awareness among people, and this thing, and all this deployment, because any enterprise application requires a proper platform to deploy, and the migration to cloud was a major transformation we have seen, because of course this is something like a water and boat situation. Whenever water rises, boat also will automatically rise. So that is a major change we have witnessed in the last couple of years. So to sum up, it is emphasis and awareness of security and the migration of our applications to the cloud initiatives. Yeah.
In a very layperson's perspective, you have explained it that end of the day, security is something which is now a very crucial component in your software development cycle that you have talked about. The migration to the cloud is also something that is like have been talked about, the deployment of the data or the platform that is there. So thank you so much for giving us this perspective from the center side. I would straight away request Dr. Sarkar to talk a little bit again on what the other two gentlemen have talked about on the extension of how you see it in your state. Sir, over to you. Sir, you're on mute. So also you're on mute. Yeah. We can't hear you, sir. So while Dr. Sarkar is fixing his audio thing, can I ask this question to Mr. Raghavan?
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible. You're audible now. You're audible now.
Okay. So let me just add to Dr. Vishnu Chandra whatever he has said. I find it I pick up 2 points. One is the adoption of technology, particularly in the government. There are quite a few challenges because of lack of awareness. And second point, which I would like to tell you, that integration of services across the several applications, that also gets stuck sometimes because of non-coordination among the various departments. Second point is that the dynamic changes in the business rules. That's what the challenges we are facing. And of course, this blockchain applications, then Aadhaar-based authentications, that has just started recently. But even then, I mean, government has to visualize clearly, then only they have to actually, give us that you go ahead and this thing. We have already going ahead or started with the land records department, where I faced these challenges. And there are other challenges. Data privacy is also another big challenge which you mentioned. Data privacy, hardly people understand about it. People mistakes to understand it is data security is not truly so. So if you allow me to continue, I will continue now, or I'll tell later on.
I'm so sorry. So, sir, I'll take this question up with you for sure because you have actually identified some very sort of very strong and practical challenges that the states have when it comes to implementing. So, I'm sure at the center level, Sir Anthony sir and Vishnu Chandra sir, they are definitely hearing it, and we would also love to hear from others. And then with your second question, perhaps you can little bit can elaborate a little bit more on it. So over to you, Mr. Raghavan, sir, if you can just kindly throw some light on this.
Yes, ma'am. Coming to the security point of view, we have a security policy for the government of India. The government of India security policy is in place for a long time. However, Tamil Nadu government has modified it based on the recent trends that are happening in the security trends and have redefined the policy and enhanced the policy details and implemented it from the last year, 2020 onwards. So we have a proper security policy in place with high-level security committee for managing it at the level, as well as we have a technical committee for security clearance, and every month the security committee meeting is happening so that what are the proactive steps that are to be taken to ensure that there are no security violations. Like some of the important things like electricity, water, and all those are the critical stations where the regular security monitoring is those are being enhanced to ensure that there are no leakages at any point of time. This is the first step on the security point of view. And when you talk about the usage of the systems, as you rightly said, it is in the recent times, the first thing that comes to mind is let us have a mobile app to do it or a system-based thing so that the transparency enhances. So that is the first thing that anything that the government starts with an application development and the system rolls out and there is an enhanced transparency on it. These are two things that I would like to add on to it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. You were echoing. Perhaps if you're playing two devices, perhaps one device would help. I don't know because you were echoing. So
I have one device only.
Okay. Yes. So I'll quickly move on to Mr. Prashant K Thete. If you could just share your thoughts because this security policy that Raghavan sir has talked about. I mean, what all your state is doing. What are the new things that we can learn?
Yeah. Good afternoon. I will just try to share some of the PPT so that visual presentation will add something so that explanation will be far easy. Just wait a minute, please.
But we have just 2 minutes for this question because
no issue. In fact, when we talk about any digital transformation, the building block of digital transformation based on the technology, data, process, and organization. As far as today's discussion is concerned, we are concerned with this. I think you are able to see my PPTs.
Yeah.
Yes. We are concerned with the security, and security means network security, firewall security, as far as cloud security also, and the main bottle aspect is the security of the data. When we concern these things, we have to look into the aspect that information security, that is CIA, that is not a agency, but it's the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of the data, which if you consider the existing scenario of the existing data center or the cloud, we have typical security like this. We can have just a normal networking with the firewall, IPS system, intrusion detection system. Then it will be coming to the network and accessing. And generally, the users are bifurcated in two ways. One is the internal user, which are treated as the authenticated user, and the other is the unauthenticated, means external user, which is treated as separate user. So the mechanism for internal user and outside user will be generally different. But now the scenario has changed, and because of lot of the sophisticated technique which has been coming up due to the hacking and other things, especially malware and phishing. If one of the internal system is getting infected, there are many possibilities that it may affect the other internal user. Not only that, it may affect some of the server credential, and there might be possibility of data theft. So in this context, if you go in the existing scenario, we have the generally demilitarized zone, then the militarized zone, and we are bifurcating and segregating this security aspect But now this strategy, as we are moving from existing data center to cloud, and then cloud to multi concept of cloud, that even though we are accessing one cloud, there is possibility that the company or the department is accessing another different cloud of different vendors. So this existing security is no longer viable. So in this context, the concept of zero trust security is coming into picture, which will ensure the complete security, which is a totally a long-term process, which need a lot of processing, and it will come up with the ensure that external threat, which will be coming in the normal case, that firewall and other thing, he will not be able to detect the local, because it is virtual. All these concepts are virtual, so it will be difficult for the external threat to detect the physical firewall or physical IPS system. It will be based on zero trust, and it will have the conceptual idea for individuals.
Mr. Raghavan, you have to put yourself on mute. If you just mute yourself.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So you're done with your, because we were trying to look at the last slide that you had.
Okay, I'll just repeat it.
The last slide.
Yeah.
Because you have also covered your second question with this presentation, which is
I'll just repeat it. In fact, what I was talking is that now the new concept of zero trust is there, so that the difference between the internally and externally will not be there. Every user will be trusted as untrusted, and they will have to pass on to some of the trusted mechanisms set by the concerned agency or the concerned cloud provider. So this is a long-term process. If you compare the existing without zero trust and the zero trust, it will highlight how the paradigm will be there, and it is a long-term process, and it will take some time. As a starting, NIC has already started the security concept for I will just share one more aspect, that recently or within 6 months before, NIC has started for mail server, that is a advanced security for identification of the individual user by introducing a mobile based app which is known as Kavach, which is also part of the zero trust society, because it will help you to identify the individual person. Then only it will trust, and then it will allow to give the access to the individual to their email address. So this concept is emerging because we cannot confine ourselves to a single cloud architecture. We'll have to access the different cloud architecture from the different vendor. So this zero trust security will ensure the complete security to the end user, and it will ensure the data security.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, because it has talked about the various security measures that are required and the processes that you are going through. I am not somebody who can just I do not have a very strong hold on the processes, but thank you. It is like very, it is comprehensible. Now, I thought here I'll ask Gaurav. Gaurav, can you just throw some, because you have heard the leaders from the public sector so far. We have 3 more to go, but I just wanted to understand from you as to what kind of solutions do you have from Thales, if I may ask, on the entire thing, and how do you see this, the data loss from the traditional, security measures and to the next level, to the migration to the cloud that CJ Antony sir has talked about. So what kind of solutions do you have from your private sector's perspective or your organization's perspective, if I may ask? I hope I have some sense with the question.
Yeah, thank you, Rajeshree. In fact, I was itching to speak in between when Mr. Antony and Mr. Sarkar was speaking, especially Mr. Prashant gave a very good insight, and it talks a lot about our products and our.
There's an electricity issue here.
I think so, Rajeshree. Meanwhile,
yes,
you can bring in Manjeet.
Yes. So yes, Fahim, I'll do that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Manjeet ji, can you just throw some light here at this point, because you have heard leaders from the various public sectors. So your thoughts on. You're on mute, Manjeet ji.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
All right. So RH as a value-added distributor primarily focus on the various security, the security of data at the every stage, be it at the endpoint, network, or the core, right?
Okay.
I've heard various panelists talked about the various aspects of the today's world, and if you look at the RH as a distributor, what we do from the offering of the solution standpoint is concerned, it's all about the network and network security and the data that we have been discussing about. Uh, so any user, when it hits the data center, the first thing that he encounters are the multiple links that he has to bypass, right? So there you need a multiple links, link load balancers to ensure that your links are working. In case of any eventuality, your links are working at times, and then that the user has to bypass various layers till the time he is hitting the place where he is intended to. The first thing that after the links, he will have to bypass the gateway, then he'll has to bypass the firewalls, he has to bypass the APDs, IPDs, APT, PIM, PAM, DDoS, various layers in the networking and the security he has to bypass. Finally, then he will hit the application server, the web server, and then he will generate the data, and finally he has to store the data at a location where all the data is which is being generated. Now what is happening in the whole journey when the user is accessing the application and he's generating the data within this data center, the data center needs to be secured fully, right? I mean, gone are the days when the security used to be luxury. Now it is absolutely necessity, because we have seen in the pandemics also, we have seen that without firing a single bullet, what we have seen, we have witnessed what has happened to the entire world. Similarly, on the cybersecurity also, I'm very sure that all the panelists will agree to my point, saying that the next level of the war is not going to be in the physical. It is going to be on the cybersecurity only. So we have to ensure that the data centers are secured at a various layer, and we help the organizations to help understand where are the gaps, because nowadays the securities are also, as one of the panelists was saying, that it is very very different kind of attacks are happening from the different layers, and we help at a different level, ensuring that the data is not breached. uh, it is not breached, to ensure that there is an attack. Now we on this whole journey, we represent one of the, most of the world-class leaders like Thales, which Gaurav was about to say. I'm sure he's back now. So a lot of tokenization, digital banking solutions, know your customers and know your ID verifications, two-factor authentication, how to store the data, which is very, very critical, how to store the critical data and the keys which you are generating. There are specific solutions from Thales which is there. From Radware, we have solutions from Forescout, Trend Micro, Sonic Wall, Microfocus, Hitachi. There are world leaders where we have. And as I said that, various layers, we secure the security aspects of the data, and the data which is getting generated during this the journey. We ensure that the data is also secured at various layers, whether it is the data to be encrypted, the data to be secure, the data to be backed up properly, so that at any place, if there is any eventuality happening at the data center, you need to ensure that the data is back to run, so that there is no disaster uh, at the at the data center. For the last decade and a half, we have been offering many cutting edge technology solutions to various governments, and I see happens have been
Manjeet's network is stuck here. So Gaurav, he has actually talked about the
Yeah.
various solutions that his Ra Infotech and your organization, you're one of the world largest service providers, solution providers. So if you can just kindly take us through the various solutions
Sure.
that you have, because we will have few more questions that we need answers from you also.
Sure. Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected in between. So what I was talking was basically when Mr. Anthony said that security used to be an afterthought earlier, and he's right. He said it very rightly, because we also used to, struggle between a push and a pull kind of a strategy. Earlier, the security used to be a push strategy, and today we find that it has suddenly become a pull strategy for us as the digitization and especially, this COVID times emerged. So from that perspective, the security has become the utmost important aspect in any organization. Earlier, there used to be no budgets for security. Now today, I think organizations have started budgeting security primarily, and like Mr. Prashant was saying, that concerns around data integrity, lack of security standards, their compliances, their audits, audit requirements, and then organizations moving to cloud. There are other challenges within the cloud. For example, if I were to put it like the within a cloud infrastructure, the insecure APIs, the security misconfigurations, the multi-redundancy, what Mr. Prashant was talking about. There could be access issues, privilege, user access, authentication, stuff like that. So these are the challenges. And apart from that, the major challenges is around data confidentiality, the data integrity, data transparency, availability, and data privacy of all the things. And a lot of now India, government of India is coming up with a lot of initiatives. There has been Aadhaar, guidelines since 2016, Aadhaar Act rather, and to protect the Aadhaar numbers and the personal identifiable information now, where we are expecting a Personal Data Protection Act, which has been, the bill has been tabled, and we are expecting it to become an act in very soon. So that would also put a lot of liability on the clients apart from the cloud providers, because at the end of the day, we have to understand that the responsibility of the data lies with the client and not, it is a joint responsibility although, but primarily the responsibility lies with the client and not the cloud provider. So how do you protect that data? So from that perspective, as Mr. Prashant said, people and organizations are adopting zero trust methodology, where when we say that zero trust methodology, where people we don't put faith on anyone, whoever it may be, and the only way to do it is that we need to encrypt the data. We wherever the data is at, if it is at rest, it is in use, it is in motion, wherever data is lying. So there is a need to encrypt the data so that even if the data gets lost, it is of no use to someone who has hacked into your systems. So we have very robust solutions around that, where we have our hardware security modules, which are obviously we are global leaders in that. We have our key management solutions, which comprise of features which adhere to all the government regulations, like automated key lifecycle management, decoupling of keys from the data where the data is lying. So essentially, when we talk of that, we talk of bring your own key and bring your own encryption, which is the buzzwords, which are the buzzwords today, and wherein we decouple the keys from the data source, so that even the users or the system admins do not have access to the keys or the data per se. So those are the basically solutions we have, and especially when we talk of cloud adoption, we have a very robust solution around what we call it as cloud key manager, Cypher Thrust cloud key manager, which is one of its own in the industry, and it gives a lot of flexibilities of automated rotation of keys. Then it maintains the entire key life cycle automatically. Plus, it takes away the risks of vendor lock-ins, because we are certified with all the global cloud service providers. So you can manage all the all the service providers within a single GUI. So if you have multiple cloud providers, you can manage them in a single window. If tomorrow, due to any reason, you have a fallout with your existing cloud provider and you want to move to a different cloud provider, then also, because the keys are the control of the data, the keys are with you. So you have to simply move on to the other service provider without having any vendor lock-ins. So those are the advantages which we bring to the table. Rajeshree.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. That's a wonderful account. In fact, you have just extended what Manjeet had talked about. So I'll come to you, but we have to also have some input and some thoughts from our leaders. I'll go to Vipin SS from KELTRON. Vipin, what I'll do, I'll try and club the first two questions together, so that because there is hardly any time left with us. So if you can just talk a little bit about the modernizations, the kind of initiatives that are happening. And KELTRON is like, it does everything, assimilation. I mean, a lot of solutions that you're coming with. So what kind of measures, security measures when it comes to data privacy as well as cloud security? These are two very different things altogether. So how do you negotiate, and what all do you do to, because we are not talking about one organization here, it's about the state, the entire state, its responsibilities there. So how do you see
Yes,
this?
Okay, basically, this after the pandemic, the digital transformation scale has increased rapidly. Also, if we look into it, if we think before the pandemic, the solutions which have been deployed is it's almost like we are replicating the existing system to a new system without any much change. So now in government organizations also, this lot of business process engineering is happening, and there are new ways of serving public is introducing in almost all areas. So most of the discussion is about citizen-centric applications. So if we are going to citizen-centric applications, the thing is the requirement of the infrastructure is very huge in lot of cases. So in that case, the cloud systems will come into play. So we are also engaging a lot of applications. We're developing a lot of applications for government of Kerala. And the cloud, when we install a thing into cloud, or if we see the application itself, there are three major areas. Like one is cloud service provider. Second thing is application developer. And third one is obviously the end user or department authorities. So if we want to provide the secure applications, then we have to think these three stakeholders. So cloud service providers will have a set of security guidelines to comply with. And this application development team, that is also very important, because this applications development, from day one of the development, the developer should develop with a security knowledge. Otherwise, this application after completion, it will be very difficult to comply with a lot of guidelines and all. And regarding this department, there is a lot of things to play, because we will just negate their role. Because now everyone has a computer in their hand, that is mobile. So earlier there was a system or something, so attack will be coming only through this desktop machine or other systems. Now everyone has a system as such, so there is a lot of possibility that if a user is not known about the problems or the attacks available with their computer, like unwanted mails they are responding, like a lot of things are there. So in the department itself, we have to give the training. So now the new platforms are available, virtualized platforms are available. So from these three aspects, we have to introduce security to make the application and the service foolproof. And this has to be continued also. When we execute projects in our organization, what is happening is, if after 1 or 2 years, means it is their importance they are just forget and they go for another means new solutions and all. So this has to continue, because once we audited an application, that has to be audited periodically. Otherwise, new errors and possibilities of attacks will come. So this kind of a methodology and approach has to be there while digitally transforming the service of an organization or department. Then only we can say that we can have a foolproof system in this modern world. That's what my observation regarding this.
Very pertinent. I think all of us, as at the state level or at the unit level, I think it's very important that we need to do a good balancing, first of all, as homework, a complete homework. And I'm sure Gaurav will have or Manjeet will have answers to your question also, observation, and I'll come back to them little later. But I would now go to Mr. Ramesh B R from ITI Limited. And my question to you is, so how is ITI Limited helping in achieving a comprehensive digital infrastructure ecosystem which is secured, connected, encrypted, and equipped with a well-managed network management system? Because this is what your organization does. So how are you doing it, and who all you're doing it with?
Yeah, good afternoon once again.
Yeah.
In the true spirit, if you can see, the digital transformation journey of India started somewhere in 2015. In the true spirit, though we had IT and IT-enabled services earlier, but the very in the real sense, it started from 2015. And one thing which sets apart India's journey when compared to other nations is that the state, the government has enabled the platforms for citizens to make use of the services, and of course for the vendors to be offering the services. This is one very significant difference or breakthrough which India has made in the last 6 years. So in order to build the platforms, so you got to have the infrastructure, the basic infrastructure, and all these digital services can ride on only the broadband connectivity. And India has come out with broadband mission in 2018. And of course, you all know the Digital India program, which the ambitious program of the government of India, which started with 9 pillars and 30 objectives to meet in every sector, education, agriculture. So any sector you take, the Digital India program had a solution or a platform to be providing for launching of the services. So ITI has been a telecommunication service provider, infrastructure provider rather. And one very all of us, of course, feel very proud is when during the last 2-3 years when everything on the earth came to a grinding halt, it was only these IT services and the telecommunication connectivity services which are working, and which made this world exchange the best practices and all that. And all of you know that the other is one very important digital services. 122 other accounts are there today. And the digital payments, 23 billion transaction in last 1 year, something phenomenal. And this is how the journey of Indian digital transformation has been very, very fruitful. Of course, coming to the role of ITI, you all must be aware of the Bharatnet project, wherein the government of India had a target of connecting the 6.5 lakh. India has 6.5 lakh villages, which transforms into 2.5 lakh gram panchayats. So this Bharatnet project is to connect the 2.5 lakh gram panchayats with broadband connectivity. In the first phase, something around 1.4 lakhs has been done. And in that, ITI has provided this broadband connectivity based on GPON technology to around 50,000 gram panchayats. So it is a complete turnkey project wherein the GPON technology, where the fiber is taken to till the gram panchayat level, and then you have the optical broadband technology based on GPON, which will give a connectivity to the villages. So this was the role of ITI. And added to this, we have also been the Bharatnet Phase 2 projects also we have been executing very successfully in the state of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andaman and Nicobar, and of course in the state of Tamil Nadu also. Apart from this, in the digital, I mean, ITI has been, government PSU has always been trying to augment the flagship initiatives of Government of India, be it Make in India, Digital India, Startup India, Skill India, whatever it is. And one very interesting thing is, all these initiatives like Make in India, Startup India, Skill India, all have been, I mean, mutually helping the other. I mean, Digital India grows because Make in India has been influencing or helping it to grow. So apart from this, we have also running a data center for last 10 years, 12 years. So this was 340 racks data center from where some of the banks run their core banking services. Apart from this, we have now enhanced this capacity to add another 1,000 rack space, totally coming to around 2 lakh square feet of area. So here we are going to be providing the cloud-enabled services. We have already been recognized by MeitY as a cloud service provider. So this is one service which ITI has been pushing forward in the Digital India program. Apart from this, all of you know, with the changed geopolitical equations, it's very, very important for every organization, whether it's a small or a big, even the government agencies, officers, to protect their cyberspace. So in this direction, it's very important to have a security operations center, which gives you the threat analysis and even the endpoint security also. In this direction, we have tied up with Tata Communications Limited to offer SOC as a service from our own data center. So these are some of the initiatives which ITI has been pushing forward in the Digital India program. Thank you.
Wonderful. What I mean, this is definitely, I'm sure many of this the panelists here would know what I did, but I did not. So completely sort of inspired to know this so much that is happening. A lot of partnership opportunities can be looked at today at this forum, because we are coming with our own individual specific capabilities also. With this, I would also like to, so I'll try and sum up after the end of this session what all I have learned today. But I thought I'll also would like to have words from Mr. Kapil, Kant, Kamal from, he's the Joint Director, C-DAC. Sir, you have been engaged, involved in a project called Mobile Seva Project, a national initiative by the Government of India towards effective governance. And this Seva project, I've been given to understand that you provide the developers with a hosting platform for the delivery of public services. So can you just throw some light about this National App Store? What are the challenges? What are the various programs? What was the thought? And moving forward, how do you see this is going to engage or catch the entire ecosystem, engage the ecosystem? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you see in the last 2 to 3 years, in the COVID time, the usage of mobile phone is very heavily increased. And everyone is provide their services, all government department or private department, they are provide their services through the mobile phone. And in the research is also shown that 90% of users are using spend their time on mobile application, and only 10% are using the web browser for access any services, shopping, for school, colleges, and many type of applications are there in the App Store that is related to the payments and learning. So we are come up with the Mobile Seva App Store. Mobile Seva App Store, basically, it is an innovative initiative by MeitY. Under this initiative, we are creating a App Store, Indian National App Store, that is developed, hosted, and maintained by the government. And it is a one-stop solution for all type of mobile application, so that any Indian developer or any organization, private as well as government, they can host their application free of cost. Second, the main important part of this App Store is basically whatever the application we have come up on the Mobile Seva App Store, we will check thoroughly. We will do the proper testing, VAPT testing, and basic aim of we will provide the trusted and secure platform so that any developer can host their application and citizen can download the application, trusted application from the government App Store. Then second part is basically we are more concerned about the security. Now, when we will access the application through the mobile phone and we will download any App Store or any third-party website or anything, so security is a main aspect. So in the Mobile Seva App Store, we will check the all type of security parameters. We will divide the mobile application in 3 categories. One is basically the static application, another is basically dynamic, and third is the payment-related applications. So based on the application, we will done the security testing basically. And we will also provide the best practices document to the developers so that at the time of development of the application, they can develop applications securely, so that the application is tamper-proof and reverse engineering not be possible. So that cannot be changed the application. They can download your application and they can rename the application, use the same icons, and publish the same application with the different type of functionality. So we will check the data security. That is a main part. Whatever the application you are using, that is the securely data is storage, and the secure communication. If your application is using any third party, so we will check that it is securely or not. Then the authentication parameters, permissions, we will check that the permission is dangerous or not for the user. Then the cryptography algorithm is correct or not. And we will also check the integrity check. Basically, in the integrity check, whatever the application user is downloaded from the Mobile Seva application, we will check that application is installed on rooted device or not, because rooted device is more vulnerable nowadays. So in the rooted device, the vulnerability is easily possible. So these all type of checks we will perform. Then we will share the complete report to the developer, so that developer can fix the vulnerability, whatever the vulnerability we will find out during the testing. And we will also provide the user manual so that they can easily fix the all type of vulnerability. And then only the application will be hosted. And in the Mobile Seva App Store, we will provide their different type of domains so that the users or citizen can easily download application based on their requirement. So there is a different type of domain are there, like agriculture domain is there, education is there, postal, judicial. There is a different type of domain are there. Then right now, currently, the current status of the Mobile Seva App Store, right now we are hosted around 1,000 plus mobile application, and we are connected with 900 different developers. And we are through Mobile Seva App Store downloaded around 8 crore application downloaded through the Mobile Seva App Store. Now, earlier, this App Store is only for the government department. Now we are open for the all private PSUs, individual developers, so that any government developer or any government developer and any private developer can host Indian application in a single store, so that any user, any citizen can download the trusted application. It is basically our aim, and security is our main perspective. And we will provide the all type of help to the developer, like a piece of code, whatever the vulnerability, basic vulnerability is there in the application. So we will provide the piece of code. We will also provide the developer best practice documents. We will also provide the beta version release management. All type facilities we will provide in the mobile Seva App Store. And we have also the master application that is similar to the Google Play application. So when you downloaded the master application, that is similar to the Google or Apple Play Store application. So through that application, you can download any application, whatever available on the mobile Seva App Store. And you will also get the notification in case there is any alert or new version is uploaded on the App Store. So you will get the alert. And we will also, the MeitY is also coordinating with the Indian handset manufacturers, so that at the time of new handset will come, so our burned application is there, so that user can easily know about the government App Store, and they can also download the whatever the application, trusted applications are there on the mobile Seva App Store. So ma'am, it is basically we are creating a secure platform that will be basically main focus on the security. We will check the all applications. And the beauty of this platform is completely managed, maintained, and hosted on the government environment. So there is no third party are involved. It is in the secure platform. So ma'am, it is basically the overall the mobile Seva App Store.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful information and insight that you have given. And of course, in India and across the globe, we have a natural inclination and we feel trusted when anything is hosted in the environment where the government is the custodian, for sure. But I also have a submission here. Reinventing the wheel is not the solution, and we will only be doing that. So collaboration is definitely a key to the success, towards becoming a more progressive nation. And India has a set of challenges. We have a different level of challenge. There are levels, and then there are layers across urban, rural, urban poor, rural. There are many things. Accessibility is a question, data authenticity, security. These are all concerns are there, and we have India is located, the GIS, the geographically India is located in such a way that we have mountains, we have hills, we have Andaman also, we have plains, and we have Leh Ladakh also with us. So the challenges are very different. Hence, a collaboration is something, a good, healthy marriage of capabilities from the private sector, as well as what is available, the infrastructure, the expertise that are available with the government, public sector could definitely be think about, we can think about merging them together, and we have a better journey together. So Vishnu sir, my question to you is, you have heard everyone, and I'm not going by this questionnaire now. I just wanted to know how do you see NIC taking a lead in that entire discussion that we have had? And this is my second and last question to you. So if you can just kindly throw some light on it, try to comprehend the submissions that KELTRON, Vipin ji has said. Dr. SaibalSarkar has very valid point from the implementing side. So how do you see this happening?
You see, everybody has covered most of the aspects. In fact, all the aspects are being taken by NIC in today's time.
Right.
What is happening in IT area, from siloed approach, we are moving to systems approach. Then systems approach is further getting scaled up, what you call systems of systems, end to end. Now, definition of end to end is also going through a transformation. Means now, earlier, the data capture systems were isolated from IT systems. Now, data capture systems, it could be a mobile device, it could be an IoT device, it could be drone, it could be LiDAR, it could be anything, real-time data. So data systems are also getting seamlessly integrated with IT systems. So end-to-end is from now ground field data capture system to delivery of service. So the entire paradigm has expanded, and it is leading, so that an entire life cycle at every stage you have to think about security, because every individual is a data point, every device is a data point. So this is the challenge today we are facing. You and I are also a data point. The device installed in your home is also a data point. And with new technology, with increased computing power, increased network speed, which is now going to enhance further, the entire domain of AI, ML, deep learning, which were used to be in research domain 25, 30 years back, now it is possible to do the parallel processing of real-time data and churn it out the analysis. So this is bringing a huge change. I can give certain examples, what you call systems and systems of approach. We are working very closely for Bharatnet Project to map all optical fiber infrastructure, including the GPON network, which is talked by Mr. Ramesh. So we have location mapped of each OLT, ONT in GPON network. And we have integrated GIS with fault diagnostic system developed by C-DAC, getting real-time information about which OLT is down, which ONT is up in their knock at Shastri Park here. So now same GIS platform of Bharatnet needs integration with GIS platform of Gram Panchayat Development Planning, Gram Manchitra, because their Panchayat boundaries are mapped, Panchayat resources are mapped. DOT wants to know which are the points where bandwidths are required, which are the schools in Panchayat, which are the health facilities in Panchayat. And schools and banks needs, what is the nearest point of interconnect? Now you see this kind of scenario which is emerging. So data integration requirement, security requirement at each stage, at each point will be going to up, and we have to take care of this in the entire life cycle of the project. Thank you.
So brilliantly captured. You have brilliantly captured all the points, and you have actually connected the dots. And yes, we all are data points, and it's not simple when we talk about a Bharatnet project connecting. So Mr. Ramesh has really simplified it, but the humongous nuanced level of understanding and addressing the issues at each point, because all of us individually, I am a data point, and all of us are, the device that I'm using is a data point. So the devices that are installed in the houses. So that's the connect, that's the level of last mile person or last person of the village or that we are talking about here. And security is something very important. Antony, yes. Antony, sir, my question to you is, Vishnu sir has talked about, he has captured all the issues here. Now he has also talked about the security, something that cannot be seen as an independent one, or nothing can be seen as silo now. Everything has to be integrated. So how do you address this from the security perspective? Little bit more from the security perspective from you, if I may ask, because you have heard all the panelists here.
Yeah, exactly. Because see, the challenges, security challenges always remain the same, because just as we say, whether it is a common cold or even COVID, the symptoms remain more or less same. Only thing is that the manifestation, the magnitude of it, and how to mitigate it, and overall how we manage it, that varies. Because that security, because even if you lose 1 rupee or 1 lakh rupee, they may be using the same security hole. Means the threat actors will be using the same security hole. So, and when the data is of very much importance, the stake is also high, because that is a thing. That is a major difference. So magnitude is a key factor. We have to, keeping all these factors into consideration, we should ensure what Sarkar sir has said. That has said about the CAA triad of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And when somebody was saying about the personal data, so so that time when the data, personal data and all, it's all the more important. So that's the thing. So now what we should do, what we are doing, or everybody in the world is doing rather, with the help of all these OEM partners and things like the other solution providers, is that because security is not a single product, it's an evolving process. Not that one day you can buy something off the shelf and deploy it and say that, okay, hi, we are safe, we are secure. We cannot do it because it has to be there should be a constant assessment, constant planning based on the assessment, and then based on the planning, the deployment of it, the management, administration, and then it will come after this, we'll come back to the assessment again. So this is a cyclic process, never-ending process. And so that only will ensure the proper this thing. And now any security without proper monitoring has very little meaning. Because earlier we just deploy it and assume that when some threat happens, even people come to know that, okay, the whatever security solutions, systems we had put in place is not working. Even coming to physical security, even a CCTV camera itself was not working for the last 6 months. So that we have seen many cases. So once it comes to cyber security, we cannot take any. We cannot. It's a very big luxury which anybody can afford. So these are the things. And as we have mentioned a couple of occasions earlier, also awareness creation is the biggest thing, because human beings are the weakest link in any security, whether physical security or cyber security, whatever it is, or any system. So we have to build awareness. Of course, the online meetings and things like that, the exposure, the attack surface has increased. So we are doing quite a lot of exercises, efforts for that. In fact, the last year we had observed the cybersecurity month in a big way, and so there was people received it very positively, and we had given a lot of similar sessions also to various people within the government as well as outside, and even to the students. Yeah, that's it, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. I think GovConnect should also organize one full dedicated meetup on this particular topic, because time is very short, and this is such an important and very crucial aspect that the entire country, and we are talking about every single individual here, every single individual under the sun in India. We are talking about it, right? So you must take this up as a request from all of us. Now, Dr. Saibal and Mr. Raghavan, would like to know from both of you if there are any best practices, or do you practice something towards creating that cloud security or the data privacy, or any initiative that is happening at the state level. Perhaps others can also learn, and then I'll quickly go over to Gaurav and Manjeet.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Absolutely,
okay.
Sir. Yeah.
So regarding data privacy, I was just trying to tell you that it is the data privacy that governs how the data is collected, how the data is shared to the people who require it, and it is used or processed. So in the state that I have seen, that the government has come down heavily to to implement this data privacy. And data privacy, the background of the data privacy is the data in the awareness. So in order to build the awareness, government has been doing several workshops, seminars within the government, various levels, and also outside the government. Also they are organizing various seminars and this thing in the local language in particular, because that government is also very much keen to go up to the village level, as the ITI person has told, probably Ramesh Ji, he has already told they are going up to the village connectivity and panchayat level. So we also know how the mobiles are misused. So the awareness has to be built up across the country from city to urban to village. So that is one of the things that I see. That is what is being practiced here. Another point is the data policy. I mean, privacy policy of the government is spread across through the websites, whatever the websites that they are using or portals for service delivery in the UDB form or in other form. They are displaying all this, that the data is not for sale, data is not for rent, data is not for sharing with not for illegitimate sharing, and so on and so forth. So basically, these data always, I mean, data can be categorized as personal data, financial data, and intellectual data, whatever it is. So second point, which I would like to tell you as part of the practice, as I am in the, or I was in the data center for a long time, I have seen that this thing, secure, I mean, threats are evolving every day, every minute, every second. So by introducing a new device today, we can very well say after a few months or even after a few years, the device will become inoperable just because of the innovation in the threats. So the solution that could be, one of the things is the continuous machine learning algorithm should be introduced within the data centers for continuous threat analysis and predictions, so that the solutions, so that the appropriate solutions can be taken, particularly through the software, because making a device is not a small thing. It takes long time to make the device proven and introduce. And that's why since the machine learning things which Mr. Chandra ji has told, which were into research earlier, now it is in practice. So the machine learning for threat prediction and analysis to be introduced very vigorously across the data centers. And the last but not the least is the integration which is happening across the various services in the government, rather I would say the government services, where while doing the integration, the dynamic changes in the business rules, I don't know how it is to be taken care. Whenever a department changes the rule, the API fails to work. I mean, API is the man who actually integrates across the applications. So that's why I used to say that there has to be some mechanism by which these dynamic rules are properly coordinated or disseminated across, so that the systems, integrated systems, can work. And it will take many months and years to make the systems integrated, because mostly there are departments who are providing services are interdependent on each other. That we all know. But it is a challenge to implement the integrated services, whether it is ODB or any other, as you say. So that's all I wanted to say. Finally, to summarize, awareness is the first and foremost important thing, which actually takes away a lot of problems of the security. Technology is anyway there, that is evolving. Adequate infrastructure with proper machine learning, so that the threats can be predicted, and definitely continual improvement of the entire system is very much necessary, because no software cannot be considered as vulnerability free. The software cannot be considered as vulnerability free, never. And nothing is called zero trust, or I say the 0-day attack is the one which is to be considered. So by saying this, in the software applications, the background software is changing the versions very regularly. That we know. So once the version changes, the software becomes vulnerable, and it is easy for the adversaries to attack. So that's why continual monitoring and continuous assessment and continual improvement, which really does not happen in the data centers or in NIC or in government or anywhere.
Right.
But when a system is installed, we forget about maintenance. That's the fundamental issue, a challenge in implementation. Thank you, madam.
Yes.
I have taken a long time.
No, not at all, sir. Very pertinent points. I think Gaurav, he's dying to say something, but Gaurav, if you allow me, I'll just take Mr. Raghavan's, input and feedback, and then quickly go over to you so that you can,
Definitely.
have a consolidated answer.
Yes. Yes, madam. I'll just take a minute on this. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, absolutely, and clear now this time.
Yes. The thing is, I would take some of the points which Vipin sir has told. There are 3 layers in the data security. On the data center side, on the cloud side, we ensure that it is the Tamil Nadu state data center was the first to have the ISO 27000 certification enabled, and regular periodic auditing is done, and we ensure that the ISO 27000 procedures are followed, which makes sure that the basic things on the platform side is ensured. On the application side, whatever applications that are developed, those are, if it is not audited, they are not hosted in the data center. They have a separate thing where it is behind the web application firewall, and that process is in place. And within a month's time, the auditing is completed and ensured that the site is moved to the cloud platform or the state data center. And earlier, since there was no availability of the systems or at that state data center at some point of time, due to various reasons, some of them have hosted it outside the data center, and those systems which are applications which are hosted outside the data center are brought into the data center. And as rightly many speakers had insisted that proactive monitoring is being done using same tools, so that there are no violations, because in the earlier days, as we used to say, we used to see the log files, what are all the 404 errors and other errors that are happening. That is being done, but to see and focus on what was the error that was missed in the tool, that is being done at the log files to see it. But proactive monitoring is done to ensure that none of them gets escaped. And on the application side, like Gaurav sir was telling, two-factor authorization. Two-factor authentication is being carried out in all financial transactions to ensure that none of the financial transaction goes through unnoticed. That is a very important thing. And keys are kept separate from the application so that the key violations or the key loopholes are not being taken. Thank you very much, madam. Hope I would complete with this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. You have actually very rightly pointed out the what do you call it, the conclusion of the session here from the government side, and you have talked about many things, and you have also complimented to what Dr. SaibalSarkar has said as part of the submissions that he had to make here, recommendations that he had to make here. Gaurav, if you could kindly throw some light, because yes, awareness is one thing that is definitely needed, and I believe that capabilities also have to be planned. We cannot have, because there will be there will be demands for a particular software, a particular way, a software to behave particularly in a particular situation. So customization can happen to the extent when we do a good planning at the onset itself when it comes to security systems. Right, and he has talked about the threats also need to be predicted in a manner that we need to develop all those machine learning algorithms as well for us to detect the threats that are there, because threats are also playing their cards. And integration is important. We're talking about enabling and connected ecosystem across all the panelists. They have talked about it, and NIC at the center level, that is where the impetus is. Now, keeping all these aspects in view, Srinivasa Raghavan sir has talked about keys, and the applications need to be separated. All these views, aspects in views, if you could just kindly sum up as to how, if I may ask that, do you have a solution at Thales?
Yeah, thank you, Rajeshree. So, beautifully put, Saibal, sir, Mr. Saibal and Mr. Vishnu. I was keenly listening to that. And basically, from if I talk of best practices, especially around cloud, then there are 3 major aspects what, as an industry, the best practices have been devised, which says that first and foremost is to discover, then to protect, and then to control. So one, we have to discover or identify the sensitive data, classify it according to our needs. Maybe there could be more sensitive data, there could be less sensitive data, which you might not, which you might be willing to forego, but definitely not the sensitive data. And after classifying, to protect the data. When I say protect the data, it has a lot of flavors to it. Not on protecting doesn't mean that it should not be available to the users. You protect it in such a way that you are protecting the data, but it is not available. So availability of data is equally important. And then to control, as I had mentioned earlier as well, that the control, who actually controls the data, is of prime importance. So these three best practices in a cloud adoption, I would say, are prevalent. And from the technology point of view, there are a lot of technologies, and as rightly said, that no one technology would be able to provide 100% foolproof solution. But having said that, there are several technologies that address security and privacy concerns in all phases of data security lifecycle, if I may say so, such as data encryption, tokenization, masking, and so on and so forth. So while we talk of this, by encrypting the data, and what we mean is by encrypting the data, we expose only, we are not exposing the original values. We are only exposing the, when I said masking or tokenized reference numbers, to give an example, for example, if we have an Aadhaar number, then and there is a usage of Aadhaar number in one of the departments, then a reference number would be exposed and not the actual Aadhaar number. So, so basically, these are the technologies which take care of the entire life cycle by securing data, whether it is in use, at rest, while it is being shared, archived, and today, in today's scenario, from a cybersecurity perspective, the one of the most important things is what we call it as shredding. So what we mean by that is that in case the data gets leaked or there is a ransomware attack, then the data is encrypted. It doesn't have any value to the ransom attacker, as well as it goes into an auto shredding mode. So the data gets destroyed on its own. You have a copy obviously available when I talk about that, but that data which has been lost is of no use, and secondly, it gets automatically destroyed. When I talk of data getting destroyed, what I mean is the keys getting destroyed. Who is holding the data? So these are all things. And coming back to working in silos, for example, Vishnu sir was mentioning that anyone, Mr. Saibal, that at application level, at database level, at OS level, at your storage level, you are encrypting data in silos. So what the latest trend on even Thales recommends is, encrypting and managing the data in a single window, which reduces the different footprints. That could be underlying. Obviously, native encryption would definitely be there from the application vendor, from the database vendor, from the storage vendor, and so forth. But overall, it should be handled in a single GUI with a single solution, which encrypts the entire data and then keeps the keys separate from the data, so that it is like putting your stuff in a locker and then taking the key, and whoever is authenticated to use that key, only he can open the locker. So that is those are the best practices which Thales also propagates, and we have the entire solution what I talked about in right now. We have the entire life cycle and the entire solution for that.
Thank you, Gaurav, for wonderfully putting everything together. Manjeet, Ji, can you just add to the entire discussion? I mean, so we have talked about all the aspects, and definitely security is at the helm of it. we have talked about it. Now we have talked about how do we secure the data at the cloud level, also the data points we have talked about. We have talked about data centers. So we have talked about the entire gamut of the cloud security and data privacy in the context of digital transformation. Now, if I have to ask a last word kind of a thing from you, so what will you say?
Yeah, thanks very much. So we have heard from everyone, and at the last, I think two things are very important, and everyone has talked about. It's all about the data, because we all know that the data is the new fuel. Dr. Vishnu just said that we all are the data points, and all the gadgets, all the equipments, everything which we are using as the data points. Now the question is how well we are utilizing that data. For someone, that data can be a garbage, but for someone, that data is a matrices to predict the future, right? Based on the data, you can do a whole lot of analytics to predict what kind of a future that you are having, right? And since the data is that importance, it is very, very important to secure the data in a way so that you are not losing the data. The second point is which has come very pertinently with everyone, is that the security, the network security, it is very, very important nowadays. As I earlier said, I don't know at what point I left last time. There was an outage, but I was trying to mention that the network security is becoming all the more important for everyone, because nowadays proper planning. I just give you an example that 10 years back, as far as the data was concerned, when the data center was creating, the data backup used to be the last point. People never used to think about how the data to be backed up, while people used to think about all these sophisticated the applications, the hardwares, the softwares, everything. But as far as the data, which is the fuel, people never used to focus a lot of time how we will take the data back up, right? So similarly, in the security also nowadays, I've been involved in a lot of discussions in the data centers. The proper planning are going on, and we at RAH are getting involved in at the various level, and we are providing solutions to the right solutions to the right people at the right time. From the, as I said, right from the word go, various layers in the data centers where the user has to touch points. We have to ensure that the data is not getting breached, it is not getting leaked, at whether it is the topmost layer, which is at the gateway, or the last mile where at the laptop also you have your emails, you have your whole lot of applications that you are working, and then you need to ensure that your emails are secure, your data is secure, your data is not leaking. Just an example, just when we talked about all sort of data, and one of the panelists said that the internal user and the outside user, it is very important nowadays that the internal user also, we have to educate them that how the data or how the systems to be ensured that at any point in time there is no leakage. So we have solutions at every level where we can ensure that we can protect the data, we can protect this security of the organization, and that's what at RAH we have to offer at the various layers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manjeet ji. Fahim, I'll just take 2 minutes. My last question to each of the panelists, just one sentence. If I may have to ask if I may have to seek one sentence answer from each of the panelists, and my question is, what will you attach more importance to? I mean, one aspect of the entire cloud security, data privacy, if you have to just attach one point as the highest important and crucial point in the entire discussion, what could be that? Vishnu sir, if I can start with you, just one, what do you call that? One best practice or one aspect of.
See, I think that has been spoken.
Yes.
One is having a awareness and consciousness.
Yes.
And other part is when we are looking for end-to-end solutions, then collaboration.
Yes.
With security taken care address at all levels. So this is
Yes,
in one
sir.
sentence I can say it's all.
Thank you so much, sir. I just needed because I'll be asked by the GovConnect team to draw some recommendation points. I thought I'll just take my notes down because I was hearing all of you attentively. I don't know how much I have grasped. I thought, let me do some smart homework here itself. So Antony, sir, if I may ask, what would be your last, as a departing note from the session?
Yeah, the takeaway should be that don't trust anyone, validate everyone. That is the thing I would like to say. And because taking a cue from our cybersecurity awareness celebrations, request everybody to we'll do our part and be cyber smart. That's all.
Yes.
That's
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kapil Kamalji, if you have to say something.
So basically, security is in all the aspects, like in the starting from the development infrastructure side, and based on your processes also defined based on your security aspect. So that Antony sir has already said, cannot trust for anyone. So that every part we have to secure, and whatever we will avail, so we will check, and based on that we can access the service.
Thank you so much, Dr. SaibalSarkar.
In very short, I would only make a single statement, that is capacity building at all levels, whether it is data privacy or it is data security or it is technology or it is software application development or whatever it is, from city to village.
Wonderful.
That's all.
Yes, thank you so much. Mr. Ramesh B R from ITI Limited. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just take 1 minute. When Vishnu sir was telling that each one of us is a data point, I was just imagining myself to be attached with an IP address and emanating data. Sir, I think next to IoT is IOH, Internet of Human Beings. So just on the line to say. Otherwise, as it was said, human beings are the very weak links in this security. Yes, obviously, because humans can be very easily compromised, but the machines can never be. So, but then there is a lot of intelligence being built into the machines, and most of the cybersecurity solutions have artificial intelligence and ML used. Okay, and this and coupled with the analytics, user entity behavior analytics is one thing which gives who could be the threat source of threat. This has exactly happened. Seeing the timings of these people working, they have come to know that these are state-sponsored whatever the threat agency. Okay, so any solution, any foolproof cybersecurity security solution is far from reality. But then all these technologies, if used into these solutions, and then identifying of solution is one very important thing. Go for an indigenous, may not be available, but as far as possible, you take a solution from somewhere where which is actually the source of threat for you. You can never be secure in that way.
Yes.
That's my last point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mr. Prashant K Thete, sir, quickly.
Yeah, as I suggested, data is very valuable. So data is a power. So ensure the all sort of security at all level. Thus, the no trust is the best solution for this.
Okay, no trust. Okay, wonderful. Mr. K Srinivasa, Raghavan, sir.
So you're on mute.
So you're on mute, sir. Sir has to.
Yeah, sorry. Periodic network and application security audit has to be carried out because application is the vulnerable point where many of the hackings and other data leakages take place. And this is what I would like to have it done very parallel.
Thank you so much. Mr. Vipin SS from KELTRON, sir. You're mute. We can't hear you.
Saigar sir told, in my opinion, continuous awareness training at all levels, and then continuous monitoring, as well as strict enforcement of laws regarding security breach and those who are responsible for that. So these three things has to be implemented going forward, so that we can have a safe cyberspace.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gaurav, Mr. Gaurav Jindal. If you have to just sum up.
Yeah, I think Mr. Vipin just took out my words from my mouth. So definitely, see, zero trust is definitely the premise of our solutions, what we have, and coupled by that is from a technological standpoint. But from the government initiatives, definitely coupled with some stringent laws. For example, other geographies have their own laws. GDPR is there, and we tend to follow them, and we don't have still now our any acts, if I may say so, government laws in place. So that is one of the important key aspects, I think.
Wonderful. That's a very pertinent point that you have actually shared with us. Manjeet ji, your view on this?
Yeah, so I'll just try to take a clue from what Mr. Antony said. He said, don't trust anyone, but I would request everyone to trust us. We will help you to build the awareness. We will help you to build the data building blocks of the network security in your data center. And we will use the best practices to integrate at the various level to ensure that you all are safe. Thank you.
Yes.
We will validate you and then trust.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful, sir. And with this, I just come to the last end of the session. Thank you so much, GovConnect team for allowing us to brainstorm, to talk, to share about so many things. I'll be very happy to share the notes here. And I thank each and everyone to join us here. And truly, it's been very interactive and learning experience for me. Over to you, Fahim.
Thank you, Rajeshree. Thank you for moderating such a great panel, and which as well as knowledge as well as number. This was one of the biggest panel for the day, and there was a lot of takeaways from this panel. I think so. Everyone, the people who were listening to this session, might have gained a lot of insights through all the leaders here. So we'd just like to give a small token of appreciation, as it's a digital this thing. So we'll be giving a digital memento to all of you. So I'll request my backend team to start with Mr. Gaurav Jindal, who is the Business Development, India Government Defense and Enterprise, Thales. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Fahim, and thanks, everyone.
Next, I would like to move to Manjeet Singh, who is the Senior Vice President, RH Infotech. Thanks, Manjeet.
Thanks, Fahim. Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Next one, I'd like to go to Mr. CJ Antony, sir, who is the Deputy Director General Network Security and MeitY. Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. Kapil Kamal, who is the Joint Director, C-DAC. Thanks, Kapil.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Next, I would like to go to Vishnu Chandra, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. SaibalSarkar, sir, who is the DDG SIO and IC West Bengal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Mr. K. Srinivasa Raghavan, who is the DDG SIO and IC Tamil Nadu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the Ego Connect team. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Prashant K Thete, SIO and IC Goa. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar and thank you to you.
Then Mr. Ramesh B R, AGM ITI Limited. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Vipin SS, who is the Manager Head Software Division, KELTRON. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So with this, I would like to conclude and thank you everyone for giving your valuable time for this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Just a second. I forgot Dr. Rajeshree Dutta Kumar, who have moderated this great panel.
I'm always part of the GovConnect team. Okay, fine.
Dr. Rajeshree Dutta Kumar,
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. Thank you. And we look forward to meeting all of you in person.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.